Hey guys, welcome to another a private email message. It's just for those of you who are on my email list. This is just a huge thank you for letting me send you emails and also send you promos. I know you guys get promos from me and also hopefully valuable emails with free goodies and free stuff and hopefully resources like this to help you guys on your indie game journey. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been worried in the last 3 or 4 weeks about how scatterbrained I've recently been. I think it was last year or the year before the scatterbrained started getting kind of, I wouldn't say out of control. It was just really difficult to focus for me on what exactly my dream was, right? My big overarching dream. What is the point of all of this? Making games, doing YouTube, and you probably feel the same way. What's the point of all of my efforts making indie games? Sometimes it feels like you're just running in circles and chasing your own tail and you don't really know what you're doing. I've had conversations with students, I've had conversations with friends where they don't really know how to pin down what their vision is. And like I said, I had trouble with this last year. This isn't usually something I struggle with though. So I kind of wanted to do a video, even for myself, to get an idea of like, what exactly does a proper vision, a proper dream look like? Okay. Because if you don't have a very solid dream, if it's not very specific, you're going to have a hard time sticking with a plan. Okay. I know a lot of you, and I've had friends and I've had students who just constantly jump from one thing to the next. You quit one game, you do another game. You start one project, you go to the next project. You start a hobby, you go to the next hobby. You start exercising this way, and then you move to that exercise. You start dieting this way, you move to that diet, right? You're all over the place, and that's primarily because you don't have an end goal. If I told you to run a marathon, okay, and you didn't know what the end goal of the marathon was, how many miles you need to run, or where you need to go, you're not going to end up running a marathon at all. You're just going to end up running, and you're going to be exhausted. You're never going to know the end result. You're never going to know the finish line, and frankly, you're probably just going to quit. What's the point, right? So I want to talk all about a vision board, okay? So this is what I've been doing lately to keep myself in check. Okay, so this is a vision board. Now you can create a vision board in Google Docs, you could create it in Photoshop, you could sketch it out. I recommend, however, treating it like it's an actual document you would send to a publisher or you would send to an investor or a client. Okay, so make it beautiful. Make it the most beautiful document you've ever made, because I want to recommend that when you're done with this document, you print it out. Dare I say, and I've done this before, even send it off to a printer to make a really nice poster. Because frankly, this thing is going to be worth your money. It's going to be worth a lot, because this is the most important document you can create every single year, if not twice or 3 times a year, and you can keep updating it. Now, I threw this together really quickly just to show you kind of a general idea of how to create one. What I do is I start with my funding sources. So for me, Twisted Tower is going to be a major funding source. Hopefully, the sales are going to explode when this game is out. And so in my head, I have a very specific number. I've not written it down here because I don't want you guys to know what the number is. I don't really want anybody to know about big financial numbers, especially if like family or friends are watching this. I just don't want them to know. But I do have in my head what this Twisted Tower number is. Also, my online school makes a significant amount of income as well, as do my game sales. So I have these numbers written down, just not for this video. So I need you to write down those funding sources. Now, really quick, it might surprise you that we've got 3 here. You might be thinking, well, why isn't there just 1? Well, believe it or not, I actually have 6. Okay, 6 or 7 different funding sources. Money comes from all over the place for me. And for the generation that's, let's say, younger, really starts with Gen X, but mainly millennials and Gen Z, they understand that money comes from, it can come from a ton of different places. It can just sort of drip into your account, okay? So drips of income, just dripping in, eventually builds up, okay? So I've got a lot of different funding sources. Some of them are only like $200 a month, but they come in consistently. And sometimes I even forget they even happen. Okay. So be thinking of all the different income sources that you can think of, and think of the primary ones that you know you could probably achieve by the end of 2023. And write those numbers down. Guys, it may be 10 grand. Okay. But at least you have a vision of where the money's coming from and how much you want to get. Okay. Next for me, I've written down a schedule. And by the way, to cover this really quick for you guys, what I would be, if you're just starting out, let's say in game dev, what it would be is something like your main game. So finishing your game, and then maybe even below it, write out like the specific income sources. So for example, like Kickstarter, crowdfunding, maybe YouTube ad revenue if you do devlogs, publishers, right? So $20,000 to $150,000 from publishers, right? And also pre-sales, or maybe you plan on launching your game. What's the total amount of money it's going to make this year? So writing those down, and even if you have no idea, but writing something down is super duper important. Okay. Then I've written down my schedule. Okay. So for me, it's 60% game dev, 20% management of my team and the finances and the studio, and then 20% YouTube. Okay. Now, for those of you who are curious, does my YouTube content actually supplement game dev? Yes, it does. Because if I don't do YouTube content, I'm not tapping into a very important audience. So just keep that in mind, that when I have YouTube here, it's supplementing my game dev studio. Okay. Now, this down here, this 60%, this 20%, this 20% here, it's going to look different for you. Okay. Especially if you're not full time. That 60% of your time might be spent, that might be spent at your full-time job or as a full-time student. So it's okay to write 60% of my time will be as a full-time student or employee. That's okay. Okay. You need to allocate in your mind how much time you're going to be spending doing something maybe you don't love, right? All of us have to do something we don't love to get where we want to get. So you may be spending 60% of your time as a full-time mechanic and you just don't want to do it. Okay. But you need to find some time in your schedule. Maybe 10% of your time is dedicated to that game dev dream, which we'll be funding here. Okay. This is the most important part, the end result. Now, I need you to be shallow here. I need you to be ridiculous. Okay. Not ridiculous in the sense that it's like never going to be achieved, but ridiculous in the sense that it's like, really? Really that motivates you? Seriously? I need you to be okay with being vain and shallow. I haven't even put down my secret dreams here because I don't want you guys to see them. That's how small-minded they are. Okay? I've got things on here that are way more shallow than what I'm about to talk about. But those are for my private vision board just for me. The reason I'm telling you to put your most, I don't want to say carnal, but they're just like really shallow desires. The reason I want you to put those there is because, frankly, those are probably going to motivate you the best. Okay? We all want to be deep and spiritual, but at the end of the day, we probably just want a beach house, right? We probably just want to impress that girl and have enough money to impress that girl at the gym or at school. Wouldn't it be awesome to drive up next to that chick or that guy in a really nice car? I'm not saying this is the right motivations, and I'm not saying you should lean on these all the time, but because most of you are probably jumping from project to project to project to project because you can't stay focused, I need you to latch onto something that really motivates you, okay? And if that's a beach house, or that's a down payment for a car, or a down payment for a house, then that's what it is. And there's nothing that I can do to convince you to change it, and there's nothing that you can do to somehow change that desire. It's going to be there. So write down the deepest, most, I would say that the fieriest, the thing that really gets you feeling emotional. What are those things, and put those down, okay? So an example is, how much money do you want in savings, right? So I've put down money, a certain amount of money. I won't write it down, but how much do you want in savings just to feel secure, right? For your family, or for if you're single, just you, which may be used for a down payment for a home. Now for me, I've written down some things that aren't shallow just so I don't feel guilty. So a happy, productive team of 4 full-time workers. I'm paying their salaries. Really, they're paying their own salary because they're working their butts off. Thank you to my team. And one part-time worker. Also, for me, it's really important that I have a relaxed full-time schedule of 40 hours per week. I don't want to be stressed out like I was last year. I don't want to be scrambling. I want to be relaxed. Okay. Now, again, I've got some secret goals that I won't put on this vision board because this is a public video. But I've got some secret goals that are very shallow and very vain. So I'm not going to put those here. But there are still some things on this vision board that are pretty shallow. Okay. So money in savings is one. Teamwork is another. Oh, congratulations, Thomas has so deep that he cares so much about his team. But the truth is there's other shallow ones here. Like for some, this is such a weird one, but I've put it on my vision board. This screenshot from Breath of the Wild is something that motivates me. It's because I want to feel this way. Okay? The end result is to feel this way. To say, you know what? Let's go on a trip. Or, you know what? I'm not going to work today and I'm going to go explore outside and feel free. So I think freedom is really what I'm going for this year. You could put a picture of a house, just a really shallow dream of a nice house. You could put that there. And you can see here, it's cut off. Just being happy. Happy in my studio. Dressed, my hair is combed. This is so dumb, but I'm serious. My hair is combed. I'm dressed for the day. This isn't something I did last year. Last year I would get up, I would be wearing my pajamas, I wouldn't take a shower, and I would just work. I don't want that anymore. Okay? So your vision board should reflect your deepest, most motivating desires. Okay? And what you do with this vision board is you get it printed. So I'll even get a local print shop or even just send it off to Staples, have them print it out, and then I can put it on my wall as a poster. It's worth your time and it's worth your efforts. Anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful. Again, huge thank you to all of you for being on my email list and, receiving my emails about when I live stream and when a new video is live and when there's a new resource or free goodie available, but also when I have a sale event. It really means a lot to me, guys. So thank you so much. I will talk to you later. Good luck on your game dev journey. Cheers.